I think it's time for us to start. And hello, everyone. I am happy to see everyone who is here and everyone who is going to watch recording of this. So today we are going to talk about something that can completely change how you understand your child. Because most parents come in thinking, well, my child is too anxious. My child is too anxious. My child overreacts. My child worries about everything. Okay? And I'm sure that either your child or you have something, okay, you probably have seen something like this. So I am just going to do this. Okay. And underneath, oops, it's a technical situations going on, but now, okay. And underneath that, there is usually a quiet, heavy question that parent asks themselves. Did I do something wrong? So let me start with this. Your child anxiety is not a proof that you are a bad parent. It's not a proof of bad parenting. Okay? It's also not bad behavior or bad personality or weakness or means that something is broken. None of it is true in this situation. Okay? So what we're actually looking at is something much simpler. Okay? It's a nervous system communication. Okay? So children do not regulate themselves. This is very important. It's a key idea for today. You need to understand that children do not regulate themselves. They regulate through the nervous system of the adult that is around them. So try to wrap your brain around this. It's not because of something else. It's their nervous system connected with the adults that they have around them on a regular basis. Okay? And so today you will walk away with understanding where anxiety really comes from and relief from guilt and self-blame, because none of this is productive. And also you're going to have some tools that you can use immediately on the spot, and those tools will help you to actually change the situation that is happening in the moment. Okay, so let me start with something familiar. Your child refuses to go to school, cries before social events, panics over small things, says I am scared but cannot explain why, or anxious over almost everything. So those are the things they pretty familiar. So what do parents do? What would you do? Well, you probably try everything. Reassurance, logic, discipline, therapy, maybe even advices, what else? Yelling, and still nothing really sticks, right? So your child is not reacting to the situation. Okay? They are reacting to the emotional environments that they have around them. So it does not connect to a specific situation that happened. Okay? They react on something else, that the emotions that are around what has happened. Okay? So children are biologically wired in a very, very specific way. Their brain is constantly seeking and asking, am I safe? Right? Is my caregiver calm? Is there a danger here? So those are the questions that child's brain is constantly looking for answers. And here's the most parents, what they don't realize is this. Children do not listen to your words. Okay? They don't listen them first. They read your nervous system. And, because the way I am, everything that I do and everything that I work with, I am trying on me first. I need to make sure that wherever I am saying, wherever I am teaching, wherever I am helping with, those tools, those words, this is something that I really, really know. Not because I read a smart book, not because I heard somebody, but something that I lived through. Okay? And I can vouch that it is what children do. They do not hear words. Okay? They do really read the room. They read the parents. They feel it. And if you are, you can say, like words that mean they're rude, but the intonation you will be saying, the body language with which you are saying those words will translate to the children something else. And they won't react on it the way, they would react if you had a different emotional message. So children read your tone, your breathing, they read your posture, they read tension, they read urgency. So if you have tension somewhere along your body, you're done. Okay? Anxiety goes right in. So you might say, it's okay, but your body feels worried or tense or rushed or embarrassed. Once you have it, your child believes your body, not your words. So child doesn't hear words, he reads anxiety. Okay, therefore the child creates anxiety. Okay, so parents tell me all the time, well, I told my child 17 times to calm down and it didn't work. Of course it didn't. It's like telling the smoke alarm, to relax. Please relax. It's just doing its work. Okay? So, and it's not broken, right? So same with children. They are doing their work. And later I will explain how it relates all together. But now this part is very important. Why anxiety gets transferred? Okay? This is not about blame. It's not about, like you wrong or somebody else is not right or whatever. It has nothing to do with this. parents transfer anxiety because they care. Okay? That is why you worry about school, safety, social judgment, you worry about the future, you worry about repeating your own childhood, you worry about all of it. So your nervous system becomes alert, and children feel that. And their system says, if my parent feels that way, something must be wrong. So the key here is children often carry the anxiety their parents never had permission to feel. Listen to this. Think about it. Your child carry the anxiety that their parents had never had permission to have. So basically, through your child, you actually have your own remote emotions to be seen and released, right? For instance, I'm going to give you a few examples. For instance, parent fears failure, right? A child develops performance anxiety. If a parent fears rejection, child develops social anxiety or social awkwardness in, like in any way, because anxiety and awkwardness, they go together. Okay? Parents fears chaos, and child becomes either controlling or, like a perfectionist. This is my problem, because my mom, she had a huge fear of chaos, even though she was creating one, but she had it internally. So when I was growing up, my path was becoming a perfectionist. Okay, so I wanted to do everything perfect. So luckily, I am doing what I'm doing, and I had fixed it many years and decades ago, but I do know that I had it. And even right now, when my perfectionist, comes up, I know why and what's happening. But I am not transferring it to my children because I understand that pattern. Okay? So the biggest mistake that parents do, they try to fix their child. Okay? And there is you should not be even thinking about it, because you focus on their behavior, you focus on calming techniques, you focus on reasoning with the child, you try to explain something. But the problem is this: anxiety lives in the body, not in mind. Okay? I want to repeat it again. The anxiety lives in the body, not the mind. This is a very important to understand. So logic doesn't work. I want you to understand that. So you cannot calm a nervous system with explanation, with trying to reason with your children. It's not going to work. Your child's system is constantly asking, are you calm enough for me to relax? So you need to have capacity inside of you to give a child enough safety. Okay? If yes, they settle. If no, they escalate. And we will talk about it later too. We will talk about it. I will mention something, I will mention about capacity later. So here's what I want you to understand. Nervous system can synchronize. Okay, so it's called co-regulation. You've seen this everywhere. One calm teacher quiets the whole classroom, or one anxious person raises tension in the room, or in the store. I'm pretty sure that you've had a situation when you are absolutely calm and all of a sudden somebody in line starts yelling or doing, like all kind of weird anxiety based, like talking or yelling or behaving awkwardly. And what happens? The whole store gets into this pattern, anxiety. Okay, so this is a simple co-regulation that we've all had experience with. Or a baby relaxes in calm's arms. I can tell you that I have few girlfriends who have babies, and of course when I visit them or I visit with them, of course they're tired, so they're pretty thin. Okay, and I am maybe tired, but I am not really thin for a little one. So every single time, like when I take a child, it's not because mom is bad or whatever, but I am in a different state. So a child always, children just calms with me. They just, like calm down and that's it. But as I said, it's not about, like mothers being bad or something. No, it's because I'm on a different state. I'm a very calm person. And I come in, like, and I'm taking the baby and baby comes down right away. Okay. And I'm sure that you've seen it. Okay, so children are very extremely sensitive to this. Your calm is the intervention, basically. No lectures, no disciplining, no perfect parenting, just simple regulation. Okay, and this is something that you need to start adding in your life if you have a very anxious child. So what is it, the regulation reset in a way? Okay. So you stop talking, you breathe, inhale 4 seconds, exhale 6. Inhale 4, exhale 6. You do those few rounds, making sure that you feel it, because you need to make sure that you feel it. As I mentioned, the child reads your energy, your emotional state. So you need to calm yourself. Stop talking, do this breathing, relax. Check your shoulders. Are they relaxed enough? Check your neck, check your jaw. Is that you may massage it all a little bit, okay? Just because anxiety and anger usually, like first thing that we do, we clench, okay? So, and we, we kind of like shrug the shoulders, and then those are the 2 areas where you need to pay attention right away. So relax those 2, lower your voice. Instead of, like going, I told you so, you go, I told you so. Please listen to me. Please now listen to me. Do you see the difference? So it makes them immediately listen and gets calm. And gentle eye contact, that's necessary, but that is it. So those little steps, if you are going to do those little steps, you will be already successful when a child feels, some tension. Okay? Because your nervous system becomes the signal of safety for a child. So once it happens, child calms down. Okay? So let me tell you about one of my clients. She is the mother, and she came to me. She was exhausted. Her daughter was afraid of school. Her daughter was could not sleep alone. She couldn't handle, like changes. She was afraid of all of it. She couldn't even go on birthday party. Like it was giving her a lot of emotions. She would be throwing, like tantrums and stuff like this. So she had tried everything. And at some point, she told me, she said, Ellie, I feel like I'm failing her. And of course, for a parent, for a mother, saying things like this and feeling them, it's very, very painful. So I asked, I said, okay, tell me, what does your day feel like in your body? She paused. It was, like she couldn't even understand my question from the very first time. I had to repeat it, and she paused, and then she said, well, I'm always rushing somewhere. I am, like I'm trying to make sure that I am doing A, B, C, D. I'm worried. My mind never stops. It races constantly. And her body was living in constant stress. Okay? Not because she was a bad parent. It's just because she was caring so much. Okay? And her daughter was caring her. Do you understand? So she, as a mother, was carrying on her A, B, C, D, all of these elements, and her little one was carrying her. Can you believe how much pressure was on a little soul? Of course she has all this anxiety. No wonder, right? So when we spoke about it, do you think we started working with the child? No. I started working with her. With her, not with the child. We worked with the mother. We were working on breathing. We are working on slowing down. We were working on bringing her back to, like her body. We were bringing her basically back to herself. We were working on softening. We were working on creating calm moments. Okay? So we basically were putting her back together. And within weeks, her daughter began sleeping through the night. Okay? Not because we fixed the child. Not because we fixed the child. We didn't even do anything with the child. We changed one thing. We changed the environment her nervous system lived in. We changed the environment that this child's nervous system lived in. And we had a dramatic change. Okay? So here's something important. Anxious children are often, they are very highly sensitive, and they are very deeply perceptive to things, and they're emotionally aware. It doesn't make them bad children. It's quite the opposite. But as parents, we need to be aware of it. So they are reading things that most adults ignore. And this sensitivity can become empathy, leadership, creativity, emotional intelligent. Okay, so your child who you're thinking, well, she is or he is very, like anxious about things, it's actually, if you do understand that, if you understand how to help your child to become and feel safe through you, you can actually create a leadership in the house, creativity in the house, raise emotional intelligent person in the house, and like create empathy. Okay, but only if they experience enough safety. Okay, so an anxious child is often a perceptive child who hasn't felt safe yet. Okay, so I want you to understand those practical tools that I was mentioning earlier. And I want to repeat that your tools that you should have in your pocket, in your toolbox, right away with your child on a regular basis, on a daily basis, are: slow your voice. Why? Your tone matters more than your words. That's why you need to slow your voice. Second, slow the environment. Anxiety grows in fast homes. If you are jumping around, if you're, like running like crazy in your house, you're not creating safety. You translate that something is not right. We need to hurry. Hurry is never good. It's never safety. Okay? Regulate before responding. Take 10 seconds. Have this, like breathe in, breathe out situation. 4 breathe in, breathe out 6. Okay? 10, take those, like 10, or count slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and then respond. Okay? Connect before correcting. Wow, this is one of the important, I would say, for almost everybody. It doesn't matter if you're an adult or a child. Connect before correcting, because we are so prone to correct everybody around us. Okay, because we think that we know everything. It's kind of ignorant because we don't. But with children, it's specifically very, very important, because when it's calm, the calm brain learns. Okay, an anxious brain defends. And I want you to understand that. And it's not only for children. It's for adults as well. So before we finish, I want you to leave with this: that your child doesn't need a perfect parent. Your child doesn't need anything perfect. Okay, which is very important. They need a regulated nervous system nearby. And the truth is this: most of us were never taught how to regulate ourselves. So parents are trying to calm children while they are themselves living in constant stress. That is not failure. It's just a missing skill. And this skill can be learned. And when you regulate yourself, your child changes. When you regulate yourself, your home softens. When you regulate yourself, anxiety decreases in the whole household, in your husband, in your children, in yourself, everywhere. Not overnight, of course, but steadily it's going to happen. So those are very important things. So if that resonated with you, if you recognize yourself in this, I want you to invite deeper. I want you to think about if you are ready to go deeper. Inside my sessions, we work on your nervous system pattern or patterns. We're looking for them. We are doing real life regulation tools so you can actually do it in your life whenever you need. Shifting your home environment. Okay, helping your child feel safe without pressure. Because this is not about fixing your child. It's about creating a safety that the safety they organize around. You don't have to do it alone. And your child doesn't have to carry anxiety alone either. It's not fair to a child. Child doesn't ask you to bring him here or her here, yet you imposing emotions that are hurtful for your child. It's not fair. So I want you to think about it. Okay? Because it is very important. And I think that this is what I'm going to leave you with. I hope that you found interesting what I was talking about. I do hope that you are going to use those tools because they are important. They look simple, but if you will be able to incorporate them in your daily routine, your child will feel completely different. And you will feel also completely different because there is nothing worse than a parent who feels like a failure themselves. Okay? So I want to thank you, everyone, for being here with me and to have a courage to look deeper, because once you start looking deeper, once you start asking deeper questions, this is where changes start, when you go deeper. And this is the beauty of it. You don't need to do it alone. I can take your hand and we can do it together. I can usher you. Okay? Thank you very much for everyone who was here, and I'll see you next in a couple of weeks. Thank you.